Well, we're having all sorts of technical problems here at Runway DFW at Indianapolis International Airport headquarters. So here we are, 17 minutes beyond our originally scheduled time. Thank you for hanging in there with us at Runway DFW at Indianapolis International Airport. Well, it's Sunday, April 28th, 2024. Look who I've got here with me. It's Howard, my old roommate from Butler University. He's going to be here co-hosting today. He's come prepared. He actually did research.
Yes.
I never do research.
Well, that's okay.
Wait a minute, let me turn your mic. Is your mic on? Oh, there you go.
Although, it seems odd calling you a guest when this is about the only city you and I have ever spent any time together in.
That's true. But Howard, I should point out, was my roommate in college at Butler University. He is now a Butler University trustee. Can I say that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's true.
It is true, but I didn't know, how low profile you want to keep.
Oh, well, it's quite all right.
But anyway, we're going in and out of focus because we're on our third grade camera here. But Howard's prepared. We're prepared. We're going to talk about planes. He knows about he's been at this airport a lot more than I have, right?
Yeah, I mean it's hard to. As part of my research, I was just trying to recall when this new airport opened, and it was 2008, which it just doesn't seem like it's been that long ago. And as I think you pointed out on the broadcast, over the last couple of days, it's a magnificent airport.
It really is. I mean, I haven't been to a lot of airports, but I can compare it to DFW, which is a different animal because it's there's 5 terminals and they're building a 6th, and this is one terminal and they've got 2 concourses.
Yep.
But it's airy and open and welcoming and bright and clean and lots of stuff to...
And it's been recently, I think once since it opened in 2008, they've already gone through one, I won't call it a remodel, but a refresh, probably just a year or two ago, updated the signage, a lot of the food vendors switched out then. And as I think when you and I were talking, I think it was you and I, said, it's a shame this isn't a large hub so more people don't come through here.
Right. It's mostly people coming to Indianapolis or from Indianapolis, but not going through it to kind of experience it. So if you have an opportunity.
I was thinking about when you and I went to Butler, and it was in the old airport, and this was the 1970s. Can I say 1970s? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can.
In the 1970s, this was all pre, TSA, pre-security.
Yeah.
I was thinking this morning that I remember I used to travel back and forth from the Washington National Airport because that's where my family was and where I lived. And TWA was the primary carrier that ran that nonstop route. And at that time, they actually encouraged people to bring carry-on bags. And I'm not talking about the small bag. I remember getting on a TWA flight with a monstrous suitcase.
Yeah,
a regular full-size heavy suitcase, and there were racks in the front of the airplane you could store it in, and they encouraged you to do that. It's something that's just unimaginable today.
Well, they're kind of encouraging you to bring your own bags on board now by charging you to check them, but of course there's a limit as to how much bag you can,
or how big they would be.
How big they can be. So.
And I must say, you have found a primary spot here for an airport that doesn't have a dedicated observation deck. A shame.
Yeah.
This is actually as good a vantage point as you can get, since there is no one place where you can see both of the parallel runways.
Right. Well, when I talked to the people here at the airport, they at first thought maybe I could be in that big open area in that plaza in the center of the airport.
Oh, right.
And I could see the planes coming in and people coming to and fro, and I guess that would be okay, but it's you really got to be outside to see airplanes.
Well,
and you couldn't have seen the planes landing and taking off either.
Right. It's a good point of view, except the 2 concourses are on your left and right. And while you can see planes approaching from far away, once they get nearby, your view is blocked. So I think this is about as good as you can do. And this is also, the runway we're overlooking is the one that's currently in the process of being rebuilt. It's in use, but I guess it's been a 3-year project, and they took this runway's been in service for like 35 years, and it's been repaired. But according to the airport's website, it had reached the end of its life. And so they started a project, actually built a concrete plant on site.
Wow.
And for a while it was torn up down to the dirt, and then they just started to rebuild it.
Well, they were telling me when I was at I had a chance to visit the control towers at both control towers at DFW Airport, and they were telling me up there that, you don't think of it as these planes that weigh tons just slam down on the runways, and there's a constant repair going on to keep them in shape between major overhauls, and they're doing the same thing on at DFW Airport now.
And again, that's why, as you correctly point out, that's why they were doing it here, is because the planes are getting bigger. FedEx has got a huge presence here. Well, it was a large presence, and then it got huge.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
More and more weight coming in. Here's today's fun fact.
Okay.
To rebuild this runway, it took as much cement as if you were going to build a 2-lane highway from Indianapolis to Terre Haute. Now, for those of you not familiar with Indiana geography, that's about 100 miles. I mean, if you live in Virginia, that's like from Alexandria down to Richmond. I think there was something in there about how it's as much cement as you would use to build the smallest pyramid in Giza, Egypt. I don't know if that's true or not. Somebody might have just made that up in the PR office.
Who would know?
I don't know.
Who could fact check that?
I'm not going to.
Here's Raina Taylor, one of our great channel members, says hello, happy Sunday, everyone. Raina, you're on vacation now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So hope you're having a good time there in Florida, if I recall. Andy Davies, who's a channel member, celebrating 1 month of membership. Thank you, Andy, for that. Let's see here. And Andy Davies has gifted a TriJet membership to a viewer, and that viewer is Bry Guy. So thank you, Andy, and welcome, Bry Guy. O'Malley, who's a channel member and a moderator, says, Howard is really slinging the infos. Thank you, O'Malley. He came prepared. I just expected him to walk up and, just kind of hang out for a while. But he's taking this way more seriously than I am.
Well, I know I'd be in the company of a lot of aviation enthusiasts. I wanted to look as mildly informed as possible.
So anyway, Howard and I, as I said, we go way back to the 70s, but we hadn't seen each other until yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday, or was it the day before? I lose track. And we spent the first 15 minutes of our conversation trying to determine when was the last time before that day that we had seen each other, and we think it was probably sometime in the 1980s.
I think so.
But through the miracle of social media, we stayed mildly in touch with each other, but still.
I have to tell you, it's kind of like we just picked it up right where we left off. To me,
right.
It doesn't seem like there's been that gigantic of a gap.
Well, we were Walt and I were actually roommates for 2 years.
Yeah.
Your junior and senior year, my sophomore and junior year, which is to say, he's a year older than I am.
Hey.
And we were both. And I know when I say that we were both radio TV majors, it's to some people it would sound like we majored in buggy whip manufacturing. It sounds so dated. But we worked at the Butler radio station together and had many good times.
You can tell that Howard's a broadcaster just by that mellifluous voice. Let's see, Steve Lundaby, who is already a channel member, has gifted 10 Runway DFW memberships. So thank you, Steve.
Wow.
And
Very
welcome
nice.
to all of our other members. Texas Girl, celebrating 1 month of membership. Good morning. Got away from the Big D for a while. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night at DFW Airport. I've got to get used to saying that again now that my tripod's locked down. We've got our first takeoff and got to unlock things here. We're so busy yakking, we forgot about the planes. And there's so much sun here, I can't see the screen. So let me see what that was, and I will back announce it. It was American Eagle Flight 4606 to JFK Airport. And that is an Embraer 175. All right, we've got